Hello, everybody. This is Raquel Palmisi, and I'd like to welcome you to Wisdom Wednesday. When someone wants to work with me, one of the first things I ask them is, do you feel that you're on a spiritual path in this life? For the most part, not always, but for the most part, people will say to me, oh, yes. I've been working with Spirit for years. I've done all kinds of retreats and all kinds of teachers, and I have devoted a good part of my life to being on a path. I meditate every day, and various degrees of involvement and engagement with what it means to be living a spiritual life. I would say that this is a true spiritual seeking person. A true seeker is someone who keeps wanting to explore spiritual realms in various ways and have various experiences, and who probably has invested a lot of time in their own personal clearing and growth in order to also experience the expansion and freeing up of the heart, and like that. But is that always a sign of our real spiritual path? This is a question that I have been in inquiry about for the last month or two. What does it really mean to walk a spiritual path in this life? And what has come to me is surprising. That devotion to spiritual practices, as beautiful as that is, and as affirming of our higher callings as that is, as powerful as that can be, it's not the whole story, and sometimes it's not even a piece of the story, because seeking is not always finding. Sometimes seeking leads to a lifetime of seeking. I realize that what I'm saying might be unusual to you, but I would ask you to just consider it as I try to receive this information and share it with you. Because what I got about walking a true spiritual path in this life has nothing to do with all the books that I've read, all the teachers I've had, all the places, holy, sacred places I've been and prayed at. That is certainly part of it. But what true spiritual paths look like are paths of deep alignment in life. Deep alignment with life. Sorry about the ringing in the background. Deep surrender to life. What a true spiritual path looks like is the kind of alignment with life that makes us know and feel that we are at one with this experience of life. A true spiritual path is one where we are constantly aware that there is an ongoing opening to levels of love. I'm not talking so much about emotional love. I am talking about the kind of love that creates creation. A true spiritual path is not in a war with life. A true spiritual path is generally not trying to fix anything or make anything wrong. When we walk a spiritual path, we walk with spirit, we walk with angels. We walk with beings that find us because we are so open to being found. The true spiritual path is one of complete openness to the experience of life. Even these bells going off in the background seem somehow perfect. Everything feels in its right place. All the challenges, all the lessons, all the joys, all the rapture, all the prayers, all the cognitive dissonance that abounds in our experience of living. That all of these things are part of walking in alignment with spirit on a path that is something we don't necessarily have control over very much. We are asked to do due diligence in life and take care of life and position ourselves for relationship and challenges in the work world, in everywhere. But how we meet these challenges, whether they be physical, emotional, mental, and yes, spiritual, how we meet these challenges is the sign of how solidly we are walking a true spiritual path in this life. It is not meant to keep us happy. It is meant to give us the full, incredible, mind-boggling experience of being human. On such a path, we are asked constantly to embrace it, to embrace all of it, not just pieces of it, not just the pieces we like, the people we're comfortable with, the things we're comfortable with. No, we are asked to embrace all of it, the whole thing. Things that make us sick and scared. The things that take us to our knees in bewilderment, or sometimes even feelings of betrayal. We are asked to walk such a path if we want one, meaning that we have the fullest possible experience of every moment that we're alive, good, bad, sideways, and that every one of those moments has an overlay of spiritual energy around it, reminding us constantly that we are on this path with spirit. And sometimes with so many spirits that come to observe, that come to augment, that come to bring us streams of consciousness, information, or experiential life. That on this path, it is never empty. When we're in alignment with being in this human life, when our spirits are in alignment, when our spirits are a yes to having this experience here, we will go for it in every way possible. And part of the demands of the spiritual path are that we learn to process anything that is in the way of us having this very full experience. Very full experience, even if we're lonely. Even if we can't find our way out of a feeling of entrapment. Whatever life is calling in, that we are willing to be in it with life. That we don't go to war with it and make it wrong and make ourselves wrong and become very self-critical and all that waste of energy and time. We need to process through it and come back to a spiritual stasis of groundedness and willingness to be in it with God, with Spirit, with each other. With the human community, with the planet. On a spiritual path, we don't look away, because as soon as we do, we'll trip over a rock, or we'll lose our way. And yes, we will feel lost. We will have a multitude of feelings. As much as we're willing to experience is what will be offered on every level. After a while, we find that our minds open because we are not at war. That our minds open, that our hearts open, that we begin to hear and perceive and see and feel and experience things on many dimensions in a very expanded way. This is life on the path. Is it difficult? Yes. Does it ask us for everything, complete and total surrender? Yes. 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 But it gives us back all of that and so much more. So much more. It's hard to fathom what we get in return for coming out of being at war with life. When you think of it, a lot of our spiritual practices, a lot of our teachers and gurus are oriented towards trying to fix what's wrong in us. It's okay, it's a level, and it's important. But beyond that, stepping on our own unique spiritual path means that we are not finding fault with ourselves or anything around us. We're not in judgment, we are in love. And that love can take us very deep. It can take us into shadowlands that we may feel ill-prepared to navigate. And yet, we do. We have help. And we just keep walking the path and being engaged and involved in it as we possibly can. And the thing is, that engagement grows over time. It expands. Our minds expand and our entire consciousness expands. And we learn to walk steadily and solidly on this sacred path with Spirit, with ourselves. What could be better than a true spiritual path? And thank you for receiving this. Thank you for being here with me. What a joy to be with you. Thank you.